We love as men and women, as sisters and brothers. This love also is rooted in community and is necessary for community functioning. Love, romantic love or whatever love, is not a selfish undertaking. And it should not be perceived as something just between you and your partner. It moves beyond that. It's going to influence more people than just you and your partner. It's going to influence the community itself. And consequently, then the community has a right to concern itself with the so-called nature of love. Love, along with the related concepts such as oneness, and we see people wanting to get a sense of oneness when they're in love, unity, uniting, being together, identity, identifying, becoming one with the person you love. It becomes interesting. We talk about love in terms of blood relations. And yet the person you marry is really not your blood relation in actuality. But yet somehow that love, if it's right, becomes as strong or sometimes even stronger than blood relations, you see. So because love tends, as we see it in this culture, to unite and bring about identity between two or more people that goes beyond their biological relatedness, that often is stronger than their biological relatedness. Love, along with commitment, caring and sharing, belonging, relatedness, commonality, having things in common, is that which creates a community, is that which supports a community and maintains a community. So then the thing that keeps a community together is, of course, the nature of love that inheres in its families and between its families. And ultimately, the nature of love that is put out toward the community itself and toward one's people. And all of this influences the nature of romantic love. When you want to destroy a community, when you want to destroy a people, as we will talk a bit about later on, you destroy the nature of their romantic love, destroy their ability to love one another in a healthy sort of way. And we will see. When you see and you think about the problems we have as people and as individuals in loving each other romantically, you must recognize in good part that problem and those problems have been set up by a political social system. Because we shall see that love, the love that we have for one another, is the greatest threat to the people who rule over us. And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why, even if you're concerned with your individual love for your boyfriend or your husband, you cannot separate that love from what is going on in the world, politically and socially. Because the nature of that love is defined by political, social circumstances. And if you can't understand why you have problems in your love relations, perhaps a good part of it is because you have not taken time to understand the nature of the political, social situation in which you live. Because you have been made to think that your love is merely the concern of you and your partner and not rooted in what is going on in the world.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. What's going on, Cassidra?
What's going on? How was your birthday?
It was good. It was good.
Where'd you go?
Well, I went out of town with my cousin. Well, really to like DC. He didn't go far.
Yeah, that's nice though. You drove up there. That was a nice little drive, huh?
Yeah. It ain't too far from here. It's about it depends. It was like 2 hours with traffic, but
Yeah, that's true. You got that traffic. Yeah, DC
yeah,
is nice. It's pretty cool. I took my husband up there a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty cool. Yep, pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. How you been though?
I'm good. I'm good. Yep. Waiting to do our little lives, get back to business, waking up our black folk.
Yeah, I know. And I
What
know I
you know
miss.
about this Jill Stein person? What do you know about her? She was the only that's the only president person. She was on a Black Truth's page, right? He did an interview with her, and she was really talking about reparations. I'm like, okay, black folk, this if you want to vote, which I don't vote, I'm just saying, but if you want to vote, that's the person you vote for. She was actually talking about reparations. She's the only candidate that I know, but I guarantee you, black folk won't touch her. What you bet?
Yeah, I mean, and I can't tell you right now because I remember it was something about her like a while ago. She said something that was like crazy though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember. It was like the last president election,
Uh huh.
but I would have to remember. But
Oh, wow, really? We
yeah,
need to really look into. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. We need to really look at. Well, the ones that are voting need to really look into other candidates besides the red or the blue. Seriously, if I was really to really punish the Democrat Party, I'd vote totally against both of them. I wouldn't vote red or blue. I'd go independent. And I think black folk need their own political party. I think we need our own party. Seriously.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
white folk do what they're gonna do, and we do what we're gonna do. And we take up, we have to separate this thing. I do believe that. No, people say, "Okay, that's crazy." No, they're not gonna ever do anything for black people. We are the only ones that can do anything for us. They're never gonna do anything for us. And if we don't get our foot in the door and make them, I mean, as far as our representation, choosing us somebody instead of somebody that they've put in front of you, I think that's the only way to do it because they literally put that Indian lady in front of you, just the dangled her. She's never gotten a vote. She's never, nobody's ever voted for her. They couldn't stand her last time, right? When Trump was running last time, and she dropped out of the race, right? Nobody likes her. So why don't we have our own political party? We've been in this country long enough. Seriously, but I pass.
no, yeah, I definitely agree. And shouts out to Raw in the building.
Hey, Ra, hey.
Yeah, I appreciate you being through. I know I haven't been on here like that. And I'm gonna try to focus and get back to it. But you know what's funny? I haven't even been paying attention, and but every time I look back, it's still the same thing. A bunch of
It's still the
black folk
same. Exactly.
talking about we just sitting here like arguing back and forth about the lesser
About
of two
nothing.
evils. And that's
Evil is evil. I've never seen the lesser of. I've never seen it. Evil is evil. 10. If it's a 10, it's a 10 on both sides. What do you mean the lesser? They're both evil because neither one. And now she came with this big old black men agenda. Get the hell out of here. And then said, "Oh, it's for black men and everybody." Get out of here, lady. You're a liar. You guys, they keep falling for the same stuff. That's what's bothering me. I'm like, do something different. This is insanity. Ain't that what they say? Insanity is doing the same stuff over and over and over. Stop it. I hate
yeah.
that. I'm like, when are we gonna wake up and do something different? It's almost like the topic that we it's almost like the topic, and I got it from my daughter was talking to me about sisters, right? So I was looking at a little bit of just to see Tyler Perry's gone, but I was looking at a little part of it. And one of the characters on there, she has been used by these black men, used and abused, and then she found this one guy, right, and he's really super nice to her, and she don't like she really likes him, but she's so damaged because of the abuse that she's been through. She can't see she can't see his part, his the good, right? So I'm looking at that, and this is how we are right now as a black culture. We've been so abused. We don't even know how to get back on track to appreciate anything good. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know how that when we see a person is trying to free us, like for instance in FAC back in the day, he was out and he was talking about freeing, he's talking about being free and he was talking about our own political party. He's talking about a lot of good stuff. And black folk tore this man apart. And I'm like, hold on here. He's talking about something positive, which is what we need. But do you not know they ripped him apart? And I'm looking at that like we are so damaged. We don't even know when something good or somebody that's trying to help us to be free is there. We will totally ignore the free and continue gravitating to the dysfunction. That's the part really blowing my mind here. This is how mentally ill Black people are.
Yeah, facts. And let me say, and I appreciate that too, Rod. Thank you. I was saying that. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, I haven't been even paying attention to anything for like the last, I don't even know, like probably like a month and a half almost, damn near. But
Mm-hmm.
like, and it's still the same damn conversation over
Yeah,
and over. That's the
it
funny
really
part.
is.
And I'm interested, like, because what I want to see is afterwards, and then after whoever wins, like what the person is gonna say, what their person wins, if they win or whatever.
It's
Like,
gonna be a war. I'm telling you. If Trump don't get in there and she gets in there, it's gonna be. I'm telling you, you're gonna need your candy bars. I promise you. It's them folk, them palm color people gonna act a fool. I guarantee you it. They already been talking about it.
yeah,
I'm
but
telling you, don't have a candy bar. You better get one, family.
I'm not gonna lie. I almost don't even want to hear no Black people who sitting there arguing about this stuff talk about, oh well, what Black people needs to do is this or that. Like, what's the point of even saying all that now after you didn't
Exactly. Exactly.
set up here argue for the lesser of two evils?
Exactly. That's crazy. You just looking at them like you just give up because it's so stupid. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sick of all of it for real. All of it is getting on my nerves. I'm sick of all of it. Every chance you change the channel, there it is. I don't even listen to it, but I've been seeing just, and my husband listens to it a lot though, because he don't vote, but he's just looking at the whole process of it, right? And I'm just like, I'm so sick of it, but I know that it's getting ready to be a really rocky. After the 5th, it's going to be really super rocky. I'm serious. And then 2025 going to be off the chain. We are so close to civil war, and people don't even, not just civil war, but war period, and people don't even understand it. It's just a mess over there, and it's just a mess all the way around, and I don't think we really understand how serious we are, how serious things are right now for us. I don't give a dang about nobody else, but I'm just talking about Black folk. We just won't wake up, and that's the thing that's going to really hurt us, because we are not doing anything different. We won't investigate anything else. We just keep dangling and running after that dangled carrot and not doing anything about it. Just like this year is Congress. You vote now Congress. People vote out the Black caucus, vote them out. I'm just saying. And then I know locally, I believe in voting locally, because I know locally we can change some things. But even with that, it's just like, I'm just so done and fed up with America. It's just so sickening. If I had the amount of money that I needed, I'd be on a plane by now. Seriously, I'd be out.
no, yeah, I'll definitely feel you on that one. So yeah, let's get to the topic. Because and that's why I'm glad that we are able to do these lives, and talk
Yeah,
about the issues from the root of it, because we know that the only way that we probably have hope is the children, because the grown-ups
yeah.
is
Oh, they're
done
done.
for.
They're
Done
done.
for.
They're done.
So hopefully the children, the next generation, got hope. So we trying to um stop y'all from passing down these damn traumas that y'all got
Mhm.
to your children and keeping us in the same situation. And you kind of mentioned the topic earlier, considering you was talking about, like, all right, so like women, especially, like, we know women go through things, but like you said, when they meet a good man, they don't know what to do with it, or they might mess it up, or like, or when the woman meets the good guy or the good man. So what you think about that before we get into it?
Absolutely, yeah, and that's real life. When I was seeing it, I told you I was watching Sister, but when I saw it, and then I see it even today, I see it in the women today. How if a guy come and he ain't worth two pennies, they'll drop their drawers for him. But a guy that is really kind of boring to them, kind of just laid back and not too serious about anything. They don't like those type of men, and I've seen it. I had a really good friend back in the day. Went through that, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, the guy is a good guy. He was really genuinely a good guy. She's like, Kathy, you too boring. And I was like, what the hell you want? You want on a beach? I was like, he was super. He was a good guy, right? And I've since run into him. It's like, I looked at her and I said, girl, you missed it. She really did, but she wasn't ready, and I'm like, her and I used to talk, and she said he was just too slow. He was just boring. He didn't have but the guy was a businessman. He had his head on right. He was talking about getting businesses. He was doing this, that, and the other. And what he was talking about is what he's doing now. And I look at her and I said, girl, you missed it, because she wasn't ready. She was so used to the abuse. And that's Black people, period. We are so used to the abuse of it all. If it's normal, we don't even know what to do with it. If it's normal or close to normal, we're going to talk freedom. We'll totally jump jump on them and disown them. And I'm like, we as Black women have to get it together. There are some amazing Black men out here. We have to open our eyes. And if you have ran into that and you weren't ready, or you saw they were boring, or you need some help, you need some therapy, seriously. Because if you are attracting, thugs, and and when I say thugs, I'm talking about gangbangers. I'm talking about drug dealers. I'm talking about women beaters, abusers, molesters. When you are meeting those type of men that'll raise their voice and cuss you out, that's not normal, ladies. That's not normal behavior. Or they're so jealous. That's not attractive. Being jealous like that is not attractive. I would not ever tolerate a man that's so jealous the way you can't even go across the street or to the mailbox and he looking out the window. That's not attractive. I would not. That's not something I want. But if that's what you're attracted, ladies, you need some help. Therapy is your best friend right now. We have to understand when to go to get therapy and when we're not good and when we are. If you're attracting dysfunction, that's not good. You need therapy. I rest.
Yeah. Yeah, and Ross said you attracted to what you are. If you attracted this, it's because you got dysfunction going on within you, And as a collective, we definitely got some dysfunction going on here. But
yes.
So let me I'll play this first one. Let me see.
Why do y'all feel like Black women are supposed to help you build your life? Why are Black women the only group that's being asked to build men up financially?
I'm surprised that so many Black women are out here that selfish that they don't know the answer to this. Black men don't have anything. They don't have any infrastructure. The only person that can help them is us and other races of people. And we are more likely to help them because we share the same oppression. Other races of people can't relate to the oppression we experience as Black people. As a Black woman, you should want to help a Black man build. They can't build anything alone. They don't have that kind of power. And I know this is going to be difficult for a lot of Black women to believe, but the truth is the only way we can succeed as a community and individually is if we work together, if we unify and make an alliance with each other.
Why do y'all feel?
So you want to say something about that, Cassidra?
Heck yeah. Absolutely. We are supposed to be helpmates. That's what God called us. We are supposed to be their backbone. We are supposed to have their backs. We're just like they're supposed to have ours. That goes both ways. If my husband needs something because he didn't pay all the bills and I got it, he don't even have to ask. It's there. You know what I'm saying? I would never not want to. I want to help. I look for ways to help. Not that he asked a lot, but if he did, he know I got it. I'm not going to sit up there and know that he didn't pay all the bills and I'm sitting up here with a stash and not, say, here, honey, take this. Seriously, that's what we do. We work together. And that's what's wrong with Black women, Black folk, period. We don't want to build up our men. We don't know how to build up our men. They have torn us down so much that that's all we know how to do is tear our men down. That's why these white women, our men, because they building them up. And if we don't get back to building them up, and I'm going to tell you one thing about the white women, they'll go and they'll see a man at the bottom and they'll take that trash and they'll build it up into some treasure. And Black women will look at that trash and be like, want that? He ain't hit nothing. And then when a white woman come and take him and turn him out and turn him into that treasure, then you mad. No, we got to start recognizing that, recognizing the treasure when it's looking like trash. You understand what I just said? Instead of it, you don't always have to wait till they get done. Because when they're in high school, they're not done yet, but you still see the potential. You still see the go-getter. You still see the man that he's going to become because of his actions. Now, if he's sitting up there laying up on his mama, ain't doing nothing, that's different. But if you see one going to college, working his dream, and he up there, he hustling, he'll work, then you know that's got potential. He's in school, that's potential. But a lot of black women be like, I'm going to wait till you get there. He got to have this, he got to have that. What about you helping him to get there? So I totally agree with the second young woman that told us we have to help our men because they don't. I've seen where now black women are making more than black men, and that's on purpose. That's on purpose. That's on purpose, y'all. We don't know that yet. They want to tear our men down to nothing. They're not even hiring black men. I'm talking about black men with credentials, degrees. Do you hear me? That's unemployed. Do y'all know that? They're hiring the Mexicans and they paying them $10 an hour. We won't stand for $10 an hour. Right now, $1,500 is rent. Half of us can't afford to do $1,500. I mean, $10 an hour, right? Paying a $1,500 apartment or mortgage. But we're gonna have to get back to helping one another. I tell you that for what's coming, because there's a whole lot of black men ain't working. What y'all gonna do, women? What y'all gonna do? You need to encourage him to get into his own business. See his gifts and help him to get into his own business. That's what we do. We support each other. I rest.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. And you know, when you said the thing about the brother with the white girl, it made me think of like the brother eating the watermelon behind the dog. See a brother like that.
Okay.
But no, I agree with what you're saying though. But I do have to push back a little bit about like from something that she said, and I'm coming from like as a man point of view, right? Because like I know a lot of times because people will be like, oh well, you're made, but no, like at the end of the day, like you still have to be a man. When she said like, oh well, because they have no power to do, that's a goddamn lie. You have no power. You give away your power, yeah, you should give it away, but you have power to do something. And when you sit there and be like, oh well, they don't have anything, they don't have infrastructure, yo, well, whose responsibility is that to go get that infrastructure in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just sit there. And I agree, we all at this point we all got to do what we got to do, you know what I'm saying? But like I don't like the point, like, because I see too many dudes like make it like, oh yeah, well it's their fault, it's like the women need to be like, no bro, like you a grown man, like we should not be under no other what they would call men. I don't use when I call white boys men, you know what I'm saying? But we under somebody else's system and infrastructure, you know what I'm saying? Like that is a problem, you know what I'm saying? Like you are supposed to provide the space for your women, to be feminine, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to provide that. And so like that's the only thing I would push back when just speaking as a dude, we get too complacent. Like, yo, we do have power. We can do it right now if we want to, but we don't want to, you know?
Yeah, because you know, you know how when we hear how the man will say back in the day, the woman put him out. And I'm like, I don't understand that. It bothers me when I hear that, because I'm like, dude, if you had your stuff together and you was taking care of your woman and you had the table full and, you know, you was paying them bills, you was, you know, giving her money, you was, you know, taking care, you know, making sure your kids was good. How's she gonna put you out of something you paying for? You understand what I'm saying? So when I hear men say that, I'm like, oh, then he was bumming off of her. That's how she must have been able to put him out the house. Right. You understand how they say that back in the day, the men, you know, the women put him out. I'm like, if it's his, he paying for it. How can I can't put my husband out of our home. He paying all the bills. I can't put him out of nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So that bothers me when I hear that. So we as black folk, period, need to stop saying that, men. Stop saying that. That means you ain't taking care of nothing. You ain't got nothing in your name and you living off of her. That's what that means.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and if it comes to that point, it's like you doing your thing, but like, all right, you got a child with her, and you like, all right, you stay here, I'm leaving, but you ain't putting me out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know. All right, so let me play this next one.
It's not that he went with the verbal and individual coaching. I decided instead of doing collaborative or joint coaching, I decided to do individual coaching. So I remember the wife called me one day and we had to kind of have like an emergency session because she felt as though she was going to start again with the verbal and character attacks and whatnot, and she was trying to prevent herself from doing it. So I listened to what she was saying, and there was a lot of hypercriticalism in that conversation, right? So she tells me that he just can't do anything right. And it's not that he wasn't doing it right. It's simply that he wasn't getting it done at the time that she felt like it needed to be done. And he wasn't meeting her expectations. So I'm listening to her, and I'm listening to her criticize him the whole time. And then when she stopped, she said, Coach K, why are you so quiet? And I just looked at her, I'm like, are you ready? She says, yes. Okay. I said, why could you just not say thank you? What am I going to thank him for? He was supposed to get this done. Why can you not say thank you? We spoke about drawing a man in with gratitude. Men naturally want to show that they can provide. I said, we talked about this. How can you not be grateful for a trying man? It is as simple as you walking up to him, rubbing the side of his cheek or the back of his neck and saying, thank you, baby. That motivates him and gives him the confidence to keep going. Why do you always have to be right when it's so easy to just be happy? You could have waited for that time instead of criticizing him. Baby, why is this not done? Baby, why is this not done? Why could you just not have waited until you all were in a comfortable position to simply suggest it? Or say, hey, baby, how is it coming along? If you feel as though it's not meeting a time that you want it to be met, then simply say, well, can I suggest this? Simple as changing the conversation, change the dialogue. That's not hard. She said, well, he's a man. He should know how to do this. I said, and there you go with that emasculating behavior. There you go again. Emasculating him, and you are wondering why he does not want to be affectionate with you. You are repelling his masculinity. You are creating the disconnect. She looked at me and she was listening, she was, but of course she was combative. She just didn't want to receive that at that moment. And I said, you're still not listening, are you? I hear what you're saying, but did it process? Did it register? No, it didn't, because I can tell by your countenance that it did not register. And he can feel and observe that exact same thing. I told her, if you want to draw in his masculinity, nurture his emotions, okay? It's not just about your needs. He's trying to meet your needs. He's trying to satisfy you. At least let him know that you are proud and you appreciate him and you are grateful for him trying.
I'm going to tell you a story, right?
Yeah.
We move out.
All right. So, yeah, what you think about that, Cassidra?
I love it. I totally love it. I'm telling you, we as women, we have a lot of power, right? We have a lot of power. And I know this for a fact that if I want my husband to do something, I first have to do it first to show him. You know what I'm saying? He'll start doing it. Or say, for instance, if he cooked and I come in and I eat and I don't say anything, and he's looking like, did you enjoy it? And I do the same thing. Well, no, I have to thank you. Dinner was great. So I make a big deal out of it. And he cooks a lot, but my husband can cook. I'm just saying, he can really cook. Sometimes I told him the other day, I said, I'm gonna let you take over the cooking duties. You cook so great. I love his cooking, right? He's like, you just trying to butter me so I can cook forever. But I told him, you need to take over the cooking duties. But my thing is, we have to really build our men up. And that's what we don't know how to do, because they're not, we learned a lot of our behaviors from them. The way they treat us is the way we treat each other, the way we treat our children, the way we treat our mates, and the way our men treat us. We have to get away from that. We have to get back to what's important. Thinking about, how do I make him smile? What's important? That what is something that he needs, or what's something that I've not done in a while that he likes? Something. We have to get to the point where we are there encouraging him. A good word. And some men love to be like, they love that affirmation. Man, what would I do without you? Oh my God, you are so amazing. It doesn't take but a second to do that. Or just sit down and watch a movie and you just rubbing his head. My husband has a bald head, so I'll be rubbing their head. I'll be tearing their head up. I just be rubbing it. But even like a tap on the shoulder, you just rubbing his shoulder. We may go out and I may grab his hand, or we sit in the movies and I just, you just have to be affectionate. What's wrong with that? And sometimes you don't even have to say, you could just express. Like I said, rub his head, rub the shoulder, rub his little cheek or whatever. But we have to get back to that. All right.
No, yeah, I agree with that 100%. And shouts out to my brother Anthony in the building. Appreciate
Anthony,
you being
hey. Hope you're feeling
here.
better, Anthony.
Yeah, for sure, my brother. For sure, for sure. And yeah, I do. I would definitely appreciate that. Yo, that go little things go a long way, you know, especially when somebody is doing the right thing, and like beating somebody down, and like like that does cause stress, and like it's gonna make somebody leave you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, when you
Yeah.
nagging somebody, and when all you have to do is talk differently, you know, and if it becomes too much of a problem, then you know what you have to do. You know.
Yes, even with that being said, forecast, it's like
Mm-hmm.
hard because I know even when I'm reverting back to that movie Sisters, right? I'm reverting back because some of the parts, I think it was one of the young ladies and the guy, they kept breaking up back and forth, and I'm like, both of y'all need counseling. But then he met somebody else that was building him up, so he was done. He was like, oh, I wouldn't dare go back to that because he knew what that was
Right.
about. But but then of course, when you don't want somebody, then they want you that much, even much more, that much more. But I'm telling you, if we as women would just build our men up, I guarantee you Becky would never get them. She wouldn't even have a chance because Becky gonna build that head, blow that head up. But we're so damaged inside that we don't know how to do that. We forget because there's so much going on with us as women. Well, I'm not gonna say men. It's both. It's both of us. So much going on. Period amongst Black people. But this is why I keep saying we got this. We need to separate. That's the only way we're gonna get healed up enough to be about our own business. But I
Yeah.
rest.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with that. Um, all right, so let me play this one.
Hi, guys. The majority of women out here were never taught what a good man looks like. They were
Mhm.
never shown the true blueprint and inner workings of a good man. A lot of women didn't grow up with strong, positive role models. So it makes it damn near impossible for them to actually be able to identify one. A lot of this has to do with the female liberation movements that sold them lies. The feminist movement got their mothers, and the Me Too movement got them. They have little to no personal examples of good men. So they seek out society and social media to teach them what a good man looks like and what a good man actually is. And what does social media do and society? They glorify the exact opposite of a good man. And these women fall for the trap because that's all they have to go off of. They get fed images of violence, arrogance, and womanizers as the ideal of manliness. They're shown men who are valued for their wealth and physical strength rather than their integrity and masculinity. So when you come along leading by example of what a good man actually is and what it really entails is foreign to them, and they go into fight or flight mode. The bad thing about going into fight or flight mode is that most people choose to flee instead of fight because it's easier to run away and avoid unfamiliar and uncomfortable situations instead of confronting them head on. By simply existing and being yourself as a good man, you're introducing her to a world that's so far removed from her reality and every single thing that she's been conditioned to believe. Her initial response is confusion, and then her second response is to reject it. A common defense mechanism that these women will use is self sabotage by creating self fulfilling prophecies because they believe they're not worthy of a good man. See, the thing is, most women want a good man. Most women want to be treated right. Nobody goes through life saying, yeah, I want to be treated like shit today. But if that's what you're used to and what you're familiar with, then you start to equate it to love. I've literally had women come to me and say that a man doesn't love them if he doesn't hit them because they equate physical violence to love. They equate jealousy to love. They equate control to love because this is all they've known. At the end of the day, these are all the same, though. They're trauma responses. And depending on who you are and what type of person you are, you might feel the urge to step in and save her or prove how much of a good man you are to her in an effort to show her how things could be with you. However, remember this, you are not obligated to be anyone's educator, especially when you've got your own battles to fight, your own growth, personal growth to focus on, your own path that you're walking. Because
All right, but all right, right now we are obligated to educate our own people, consider it. But so, what you think about
Yeah.
this? You know,
Oh man, she was saying all the right things. I told you about my book, right? My book has similar stuff to what she's saying. We talk about
No,
mother's love.
say what it is. Say what it is.
Oh, Mother's Love. My book is on Amazon, right? And it's a mother's love. And I'm telling you, we talked about a lot about attraction. What we are is what we attract, or what we saw growing up. For instance, if you saw your dad beating your mom, pretty much is what you're going to attract to yourself, men, women. Um, if you saw your dad getting high all the time, guess who's going? That's what you're going to attract to you. A man, that's all he's going to do is get high. A man, that's all he's going to do is drink. So whatever your parents were is what you're used to. Even though I've seen some women say, I'm not going to attract that. And that's exactly what they attract to themselves. And the good guys, they don't like, because of what they've grown up with. That's why I keep telling ladies, men too, if you grew up with an alcoholic in your family, please don't date. Please go and see a therapist first. Do your therapy work. It may take 5-10 years. I don't care. Just do the work first. And you'll attract something totally different. But if you don't do the work, guess what you're going to attract to you? And you can see just by dating, even now, ladies, the ones that didn't go to counseling and they grew up with with men that were abusers, with men that they saw beating their moms, with men that they saw getting high, men that they saw drinking. That's what you attract to you, ladies. And even for our little boys, if their mom, they looking at their dads or they looking at the moms, and their mom was abusive to the dad, then guess what they're going to get? They're going to get a woman that's abusive to them. See, we fail to understand that. We can say all day long, I'm not going to get that. I don't want that. I don't want a man that's going to do this, that, and the other. But that's all you know. If that's all that's in here, you don't know how to attract anything different. Very seldom. It might be one woman. If you got a family of 5 girls, it may be that one that may not attract that abuser. That one. But I'm going to tell you what, a lot of times, 9 out of 10, it'd be 10 out of 10. And they'll attract that. All them girls will be sitting up there being abused or not even dating at all. I rest.
Oh yeah, I agree with that, and then how it comes in the form of the community, because then you look at all of these people, you be like, how could these people follow this person who is scamming them or doing this to them? It's because you want to start attracting, like you are, like y'all been saying, like you're going to gravitate to all and somebody coming up saying like, hey, like freedom is over here. We don't have to like go back to Master House.
Yeah.
Now that's like foreign to you and it's scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know that sounds like crazy, but it is really like the truth of how we interact even to this day. It's not a mistake that they be like, yo, the dating is so horrible right now, or like how Cassidra mentioned earlier, how women are getting paid more than men intentionally, because like by nature it causes division in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not by accident. And so like in the very first thing they have done and the very last thing they'll try to do is to divide Black men and Black women together and break up Black families, because that is the root of everything. You know what I'm saying? If you get control of your children's mind and teach them how to stand on their own and not need nothing from nobody, then there's going to be a problem. And with our creativity, our imagination, and our ingenuity, whatever, however you say that word, you know what I'm saying? We create things, you know what I'm saying, when we are on our own, you know what I'm saying? We create lasting civilizations. The last piece we probably have to learn is defend it, so. Now consider we have to talk about the other side of it too, though.
Yes.
Me being a dude, like with the nice guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of times it's not even true that they're not really even nice guys. There's a difference between a good man and a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
nice guys is lying their ass off. You know.
Yeah, a lot of times. I'm glad you did that. There is a difference. There is a difference. Yes.
And so, all right, I'm gonna just play this one, I guess.
I'm gonna try to pick random people. Or more accurately, I'm gonna tell you what a nice guy is not, because I think a lot of people get confused. A lot of people seem to think that there's only 2 types of guys: nice guys and assholes. And I don't really think that's the case, or at least if it is the case, I would say that the vast majority of guys are assholes, especially the ones that go around claiming to be nice guys. Being nice does not mean being passive and letting people walk all over you, or putting everyone before yourself, or not going for what you want in life. That just makes you a doormat and a wimp. Contrary to popular belief, being assertive is not the same as being an asshole. Being cocky isn't even the same as being an asshole. Yeah, you can be a cocky, nice guy. I think I'm like that sometimes, actually. In fact, sometime in your duty as a nice guy, you will be required to take a stand for what is right, or just for what you want out of life. And you're not going to get anywhere if you're just a little bitch all the time. Being nice does not mean you have to avoid confrontation. You get to have opinions too. Sometimes I hear guys say things about these girls that they're in love with. She's just so perfect. I could just like sit there and be worshipped. You don't have to let her win.
All right. So you get the point, though. You know, that's the thing, because a lot of times, like, it is weak. So much weakness in our community, and you know, especially online, because I know people talk about like that. The black, I was watching all that manosphere, black manosphere. You know, first the black dudes got kicked out of the white dudes club, so they made the black women's hater club. You know what I'm saying? Because they got kicked out the white group club because they, you know, the black dudes over there would have dated the white girls, but you know, there's blasphemy to
That's
the white.
That's why they was over there.
See, I watched the whole thing go down. You know what I'm saying? But
over there. They was over there for some white women, honey.
And a lot of times they be on this. Oh, they don't want the nice. Like, you lying to yourself into like, yo. And really, it's coming from self-hatred at the end of the day, because you don't think that you're good enough to get whoever, you to be yourself and to get. And I ain't gonna lie, like when I was like 19, 20, you know what I'm saying, I had to go through my phases, you know what I'm saying. I don't know if every dude go through it, but I went through the phase where you're not sure of who you are, and you think that you're trying to impress somebody, get somebody to like you. But the whole time you're not even paying attention to the red flags of the toxic woman. You know what I'm saying? Like that woman who's talking to you like trash, you like, oh, wow, I just got to be nicer and she'll be nicer to me, instead of realizing that's a red flag that she might be just be crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or she got double personalities or something. But yeah, that's true. That's true. Wow. And I don't think a lot of people understand what he was saying, because there are several different, it's just like he said, it's a nice guy and a butthole, right? But we have to understand some guys that's about their business, their family's business, or about their business and building. They might not be go-getters to the point as far as friends. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of like away from everybody, and they're about their stuff. You know, they don't have a lot of visitors. They have acquaintances, but they don't have time to hang out a lot. You know what I'm saying? So you can kind of distinguish the nice guy per se, that's, you know, everybody's friend, but then they walk over him. You know what I'm saying? But you'll have another guy, like I said, that's building, and he's about his business, and he's not a pushover, and then you go, oh, he's an asshole. But no. So I hope we understand the difference in what this young man was trying to say.
Yeah, we're gonna break it down a little bit more, you know, but I just wanted to play a little bit, because the truth is like, are you really a nice, because ultimately, like, people don't want to say, like, that's why I had to say it before, like, as a man, like, yo, we should be ashamed of ourselves and to be in the position that we're in. And that's okay, because we can take that energy and use it to get out of that position. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we're being pushovers, you know what I'm saying? Like, as you can say yes sir all you want to, you know what I'm saying, but it's trickling down even to like the relationship. So then when you see like a woman is going to run over a dude, you know what I'm saying, who is going to let her, you know what I'm saying, and God forbid if you have a son or a daughter even, you know what I'm saying, she's going to see a wimp, a punk, you know what I'm saying, who's afraid to stand up for himself. But that's the thing. If you don't have a nation of men that's willing to stand on who they are, then you're going to be conquered every time. You know what I'm saying? And so, but anyway, let's get back to this part.
Good men versus nice guys. Women often ask me, where are all the good men? And the answer is kind of dumb. I tell them that they are both everywhere and nowhere, just like shitty men. In fact, some women could walk into a crowd of nearly all good men and still pick out the shitty one like a needle in the haystack and go home with them. So sometimes it's about you, not the environment, but your radar. There's no one particular location. Sometimes disappointment and loneliness create a difference in what a man presents. If exposed too long to a solitary existence, a man may become overzealous or show signs of desperation. When the potential for new love in his life presents itself, the time you meet a man and where he's at exactly on his journey means a lot. So keep that in mind as I read off this list. But I want to start with good men versus nice guy boundaries.
And this is for like the young dudes out there, like, yo, desperation is probably the opposite of confidence, you know what I'm saying? And like when you're desperate, you'll take anything from anybody and you have no boundaries. And like, yo, I'm like, even collectively, individually, yo, if there's no boundaries, then they can take everything from you. Like, you know, that's why you don't know your last name now.
Yeah, I done seen some of these black guys with some of these 400-pound white women. I'd be like, oh God, what they just had to have a white woman. I mean, some of them look terrible. They skinny as pose, and it's just a mess. And I'm like, were they desperate, or were they just, you kind of look and you kind of be like, you were desperate, weren't you? You know what I'm saying? You just wanted a white woman. You didn't care what she looked like. Haven't you seen that black guy on TikTok? I think it is. He got this he's a black guy, right? He's like maybe 25, maybe 30. I'm guessing. And she's like, oh God, she looked like she about 60. I swear, probably 70. She's so wrinkled up. It's a mess. And I'm like, what's wrong with him? Is it a spell, or is he desperate, or what's going on with him? Seriously, because it's so sad. But I don't know. My rest.
Definitely sick.
Nice guys generally have no boundaries. Their time, attention, frequency, and proximity are all out of whack. It can seem like they're all in from day one, or like they would do anything told to them. They will give you whatever they had and all of their time from the very beginning. They're overeager and they don't require you to respond in certain ways to them to unlock their favor or their trust in you. They just hand it over immediately. They call too much, they are way too accommodating, and they can start to feel like employees or assistants while you're with them. You can stand a nice guy up, disrespect his time, and he'll still show up at another date without even checking you about the first date missed. You can tell him you're dating other guys and he'll suck up to you even harder to win your favor. He lacks a sense of independence. While on the contrary, good men always require respect for their time and their effort. They don't want to share. They set boundaries when appropriate. And they let you know when you've crossed the line. Now, don't misunderstand me. A lot of ain't shit men have temper tantrums and fly off the handle to scare you into a position of submission. A lot of men pretending to be strong men overreact to stupid stuff to cause drama, to manipulate the ups and downs. I'm not talking about that. In a healthy enough way, good men can communicate their needs, but also their dislikes. It's not about drama with them. It's about progression. Unlike nice guys, they don't adjust what they put up with from you based on how much they like you. Their time is valuable and you must respect it. They have both pride and shit to do. So they're not sniffing behind you like a puppy dog waiting for a treat. They aren't bugaboos. They adjust what they offer based on the growth of the relationship and your response to them. If they feel themselves making progress, they graduate their efforts over time. Now, with that said, there's a difference in the way that nice guys and good men handle validation. Nice guys will ass kiss you until their lips get chapped. They're always trying to get in your good graces, and their insecurity pushes them to brown nose. They actually project their insecurities onto you by over-complimenting you and giving you far too much validation. They're afraid you don't like them, so they never stop campaigning for your approval. On the contrary, good men will validate you to be polite or when it's necessary or needed, but it's not attached to any insecurity they have. They're not trying to win your approval, they're making observations. They're not complimenting to impress or to get on your good side. They attempt to validate you according to their observance of your needs. They want you to feel confident and feel noticed, but they don't intend to kiss your ass. Their main goal is just to empower you to feel more confident around them. They neither offer constant validation or need constant validation. They know who they are and they know their worth, and they expect you to know who you are and know your own worth without them always needing to tell you.
All right. So I ain't gonna play the whole thing, but
what do you think about that?
Oh, well, he's spot on with a lot of stuff because like with the nice guy, it comes from insecurity. It comes from feeling like you're not good enough, not worthy. And we got to understand where all of that comes from. It comes from like, yo, constantly being shown like on TV. The first thing you see is you're a thug and all this stuff. Now, when you're young, you don't know any better. But like we know when we start going to school, we get taught like, well, you is a criminal. You is this. You is no good. Then we look on TV. You ain't no good. You ain't ish baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like everything in society is negative. So, and then God forbid if your parents is not up to speed, which most of us are not blessed to have because we just living in this where we all been brainwashed. Now you start coming with this not good enough stuff. So then when you start having relationships with women, like we said, like when sometimes it's their red flags, but you get like scared because you're like, oh well, I'm not good enough, or I have to prove myself. And if I get this one chick, then I will be good enough. Not knowing the whole time she just got issues herself, and y'all triggering each other the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And like you just gotta hope that no kid, like no child, is come from like y'all getting together, triggering each other. But the whole time y'all trying to find validation from each other outside of yourselves when really it comes from like within. But like it's hard to find that for us in this society where everything is designed for us to make us feel like we're not good enough. You know what I'm saying? So that's why like it's hard for us to like, but the difference between a good man is like a nice guy will he'll just say yes, he'll be a yes man. But a good man, he will tell you yes or no. He will tell you the truth no matter what will happen. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna lead you. He's gonna care about you actually, even if that means you're gonna be mad for a minute, even if that means you gotta leave. You know what I'm saying? But he is gonna stand in who he is. He's like, and know his value. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. That's one of the differences. Like, yo, a nice guy doesn't know his value, and a man knows his value. Like, I know that I am, you know, who I am, you know, and nobody can take me off of my square. Not to say you don't feel pain, hurt, cry, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a human, you know, but nobody can knock me off of my square, who I am, what I believe. I know I'm a black man. I'm proud to be black. You think anybody gonna come up to me like a white girl one day, and I'm gonna be like, yo, I don't want to be black no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like none of that stuff. Like, I am who I am, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm proud of that on top of that, you know what I'm saying? And also nobody's gonna violate me and mine and take mine from me, or like take my ability to create my own destiny away from me without me still living or they still living. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day. But I don't know what you think though, Cassidra.
Man, I totally agree with everything. I can't even add to that. I totally agree.
Yo, shouts out to MB2 in the building. Appreciate you, my brother.
Yes.
But yeah, that's why I was like, yo, it's important because too many of us is some straight bitches, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real with it, you know what I'm saying? But we got to understand why. But that's why
I was going to say, where did that come from, though?
Well, it's where all of the generational trauma comes from. Like, it's just like for me, I know for me, like my mom put her limitations into my head when I was too young to understand, and then it took me to get old enough to realize it and to put my own stuff in my head. But it didn't come from my mom. Somebody put that in her head, but I don't know
so that's
where
Willie Lynch, right? Isn't that Willie Lynch though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
But it comes from like just being in this society, but you know what I'm saying, it's a self-hatred thing that has been passed down, and a lot of it has been like self-protection mechanism, because like you pass it down because you don't want to see the people you love get hurt or killed, but like all of that develop into bad habits to where now we just act like straight punks, and we just gotta figure out a way to not, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And then that even goes into now where we give them our children every single day into they are instilling that mentality into them, and then we're wondering why we get a society of straight bitch ass dudes, you know what I'm saying, women who are like they are, you know what I'm saying. It's all by design, you know what I'm saying. And that's why it's important for the good men to mentor the younger boys, you know what I'm saying, coming up, you know. That's the important thing, because you don't want them to learn it when they're like 42, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what's been going on. So anyway, that's another one. Traits of a good man.
This video is going to be about what a good man looks like, or the qualities that a good man possesses. I think it's something that a lot of you will appreciate. Now let's dive into this topic. We often talk about the games guys play or the things that you want to watch out for while dating. So I just wanted to lighten things up and talk about some of the good qualities that you may find in a man. Some of the things or traits that you may witness that signify his decency rather than his deceit. These are 10 qualities of a good man. Number 1, they understand the responsibility that they have to protect. You cannot stop a good man from protecting you. And some of y'all know what I'm talking about.
See, when they be like, oh, well, if black women don't do this or do that, then, oh, I ain't going to. But you know what? You wasn't going to do nothing anyway. And the sad part was like, yo, and the bad thing is, like, we sat there and watched our women get, like, raped so much to our DNA is different. You know what I'm saying? They literally did this, and we watched it. And that makes you, that's an emasculating thing. Scared.
We were scared to die. Didn't want to protect your woman. Well, I don't master the, whatever. No, you should have broke his neck and buried his behind.
Both of us can't be living with my wife and my daughter. Your daughter, you know that?
Yes,
your son,
daughter.
even.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
A good man will never let you endanger yourself. You can't piss him off enough for him to stop caring about your safety. You can be arguing really bad at night. You can be steaming mad and say something like, well, I'm going to go take a walk. I need to get away from you. He'll look you dead in your eye and be like, well, I guess we taking a walk then. It's 12 o'clock at night. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to let you walk around here by yourself just because you're mad. You might as well take your butt in the bedroom and go cool off. He never comes outside of his protection mode, and he will never let you endanger yourself. He will, however, endanger himself if it means protecting his woman or his family, because nothing makes a good man feel more worthless than not being able to protect the people he loves. Number 2, they take every opportunity to comfort their woman in their own way. He may not know what to do when you're upset, but he does something to let you know that he cares about you being upset. Sometimes that something is nothing, laying low and giving you the space you need to cool off. He may even offer to do you a favor to get you in a better mood or try to fix it, even though we know everything can't be fixed. Good men do what they can do to lighten your load and ease your burden when you're upset, as long as it's not with him. He's still a man. Number 3, they are mindful of the words they choose and they value healthy communication. A good man won't just let any sorry-ass statement fall from his mouth because he cares about the impact of his words. There's a quote that says, a wise man speaks because he has something to say, but a fool speaks because he has to say something. Good men don't talk just for the hell of it, especially during a disagreement. They keep it about the issue and they don't degrade their woman. They don't express hatred for their partner, but for the behavior.
By the way, that goes for like everybody, not just your woman or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's for everybody, you know.
Yep.
Moving on. Number 4, they have and respect standards. Good men don't require you to put up with shit from them that they're not willing to take from you. You will never hear any dumb mess from a good man like, a man don't have to answer to no woman. That's because they know how to balance their masculinity with your equality. A good man can lead without ruling.
And you know, and I don't mean to keep pausing. You know, the thing about it being a man is, Cassidra, like it's nothing that a woman can do to make me stop being a man. And everything I do, I'm being a man while I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's why when people be like, she won't let me be a man. Like, first of all, if somebody lets you be a man, like you're not she lets you.
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about, bro?
Exactly.
Anyway.
A weak man requires loyalty and respect, but rarely offers it. Good men are fair and they don't have a superiority complex over the women in their lives. They honor the rules of the relationship. Number 5, they are chivalrous. And there are varying levels of chivalry. He may not open car doors, but he may filter his language. Or he may walk on the curb side of the street. He may even ask permission before he kisses you for the first time, or always verify that you're comfortable with his actions, especially around the subject of fooling around. Couples tend to set their own dynamics, so chivalry can be any attempt that a man makes to be gentle with you and keep you at ease. Good men offer chivalry regardless of the benefit to themselves. Some men are only chivalrous until they get what they want from you. With that said, the 6th quality of a good man is they mean well and their intentions are always good. They aren't vindictive or sneaky by nature. They have a good sense of morality that serves to benefit others as well as themselves. Good men don't say shit like all men cheat because they would never want their wives lying. Number 7, they are leaders, but they know when to follow. Good men aren't dictators. They know that submission goes both ways. They recognize their woman's strength.
All right, Cassidra, you want to say something about this?
Oh, I'm learning. I'm listening. It's good. I mean, it's good. Nothing to say.
Okay, I'll keep playing.
Both ways. They recognize their woman's strengths and don't insist on being in charge of shit that they're ill-equipped to handle. They understand the concept of interdependence. They answer to their woman just as she answers to them. For example, I have authority in some areas of my marriage, and my wife has authority in other areas of my marriage. Authority is determined by whoever has the most knowledge, wisdom, and understanding about a particular area. And the behavior authority is based on honor and respect and mutually set standards for the relationship. We answer to each other. Moving on, the 8th quality of a good man is they understand the value of a woman's emotional security and avoid doing anything that may damage that. This goes back to the instinct of protection. Men are problem solvers. The easiest way to solve a problem is to not let there become one. They also never want to be the person or
the easiest way to solve me and MD2 should have burnt all the stuff down in like the 1500s, so we wouldn't even end up in this place in the first place.
Okay.
That's what. But no, I would say this for the young brothers out there, like, yo, a sign, I think, and this is just my opinion, this ain't like nothing, whatever, but take it for what it's worth. Like, I think for me, like, the sign is like when you learn how to use that aggression, but in a like organized way. I don't know how to say it. Like when you stop going from like so fast to precise, you know what I'm saying? Using your energy more precisely is like you slow down, but it's like you do. I don't know how to say it, but like, you know what I mean. I don't know if you know what I mean, but yeah, you want to say anything about this though, Cassidra?
Wow. I mean, I'm loving the points. I hope you guys are taking notes because everything he's saying is totally, I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, yeah, he got it. But a lot of men don't understand this. They don't know how. They don't understand this.
Yo, MD2 is in the building. I'm sorry, my brother. What's going on? How you doing, bro?
Oh man, I'm just hanging in there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, lovely, wonderful conversation. Peace to you guys. I always love listening to the Legacies broadcast that you have.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can only tell, and I'm glad that you brought this up. Bringing this young brother in, because to me, I'm just watching this guy who's probably like 1/3 of my age, and I'm just going, wow. It's just one of those things because you guys are like young. I mean, anything under 50 to me is young, and the thing is I'm watching him going, wow, this young brother hasn't even begun to experience life yet. And he definitely is doing what a man does, at least to try to go ahead and learn. One of the things that I noticed there, Brother Forecast, is I had a young brother just came out that, I've been kind of teaching him in terms of markets, trading, and investments for the last 20 some years. And we finally had a chance to really see face to face over 20. I'd seen him once, and he came out, he's in his early 40s, and he's wife, and he's fixing to have a child and the whole 9 yards. And all I could do is say that a real good man is one that's willing to learn, What I mean by that is, and especially a lot of brothers, they don't want to learn. Like, I'm always learning from you. I'm learning from the young guys that are coming up, because the thing is they're teaching me the things that I either didn't learn from, or didn't want to learn, or that's things that I need to learn that I didn't back in the day. And that's one of the things that I learned when this young brother came up, and flew out here. He's doing business out here, and I said, wow. There's a lot of things that I was like telling myself, wow, I wish I would have known that when I was in my 40s. That's like a lifetime ago. But a real good man is not only one that protects, one that nurtures, one that, a vanguard, a conqueror. And the only reason I can tell you this is because these are things I still need to learn that I wish I learned back then. It's just experience is making me, made me had to go through this route over the decades. But a real good man nurtures, he protects. A real good man actually is not afraid to get into the mix. What I mean by that is not afraid to scold. Okay. And when I say scold, I'm not talking about, I'm a scolded child. Sometimes you have to scold individuals that are even older than you. Scolding individuals that, because basically real good men are the ones who are conquerors. They open up doors. And what I mean by open up doors is even if they have to go ahead and either, cut someone's throat to do it, they're going to do it. And the reason I say that is I see that men, it's all about legacies. Everything is about a legacy. Every man, every male species on this planet wants to leave a legacy, not just in terms of, these are my children and my legacy, but doing things that the entire world says, this guy made his stamp on the world. If it wasn't for him, this would have never happened. I see that even in nature. If you watch the male species of an animal in nature, even though a male gorilla may see, look at his so-called family and say, okay, that's mine, he still is wanting to make his imprint in the future, so he has his own world that he created. He may be not around, but 10 generations around, it's because of what he did. He's thinking in terms of, I need to protect, I need to scold, I need to nurture, I need to commit. Because commit is an extremely important thing in terms of manhood. And like I said, this young brother is bringing things up, and I'm like, he's going to learn a lot of this, because I'm sure, the experience is going to make you do this. When I say commit, not just commit to your word and things that you may say, but commit to yourself. What I mean by that, Brother Forecast, because again, these are things I had to learn over the last 50 some years, 60 years. When I say commit to yourself, have your own frame of reference. In other words, want to conquer the world, not just conquering, I want to be this and I want to be that. Every step, every mindset, every breath you take is something saying, I want to change the world. I want to make this something where the world says, you put your footprint on this, and because of you, you've changed everything that anyone ever wants to do because of you, again, being solid, being on your square, being that man. And I was telling this young brother, I said, look, even though I'm decades and decades older than him, I remember when I was about his age, even younger, when Herbie Hancock said, man, you're going to change the world. He would tell me that all the time, man, you're going to change the world. I could see that you're going to do it. I said, either good or bad, I'm going to make sure this world knows that I was here. And that's being very centered on your square. A lot of us, especially young brothers, we have been, unfortunately, indoctrinated, especially through these so-called social media, especially through so-called internet, where we live on someone else's frame of reference. Okay. We're living as if, we're trying to be a king in someone else's land, whether it's social media, whether it's your job site, whether it's on stage. Like I said, I work with more celebrities than you can probably count on your hands. And I look at them and I say, they're still a slave on someone else's stage. When you own and control all aspects of your destiny to the point where other men who are doing the same, you have to compete with them to the death. Then you start looking at what real true manhood, real true legacy really is. A lot of us don't get that, Brother Forecast, again, because social media and other types of media and everything else has indoctrinated us to think that this is the limits that we have, or as Dr. Ben said, we let others control the diameter of our thinking, therefore they control the circumference of our being. When we start to break from that and saying the only rules and the only laws that we go ahead and live by are the ones that actually are the ability for us to control our destiny. Any other laws or rules don't matter to us. That, and again, like I said, these are just some things in terms of real true manhood that I had to learn over decades. I'll go ahead and pass the mic.
Well, MD2, because I wanted to ask you a question real quick, but like I agree with everything you said, you know, and I'm glad you came on here, and that's because I was going to say come on here too, by the way, and because I knew you was going to break it down, but like one thing you said, and it hit me like commitment, and that means like really what it means, like, and I know that you can only really understand it with experience, because commitment means like all the time, like, yo, like I don't feel like doing this right now, like, no, it ain't no if I don't feel like it right now, because like, yo, I remember before when I stopped doing this like for like a little while, you know, and then I came back, a whole bunch of stuff happened, you know what I'm saying, like the whole NFAC thing happened, like the riot thing at the Capitol stuff happened, and I was only stopping for like 2 months, you know what I'm saying, like there is no stopping, you know what I'm saying. And commitment is commitment, and then you commit to like, yo, yourself first, you know what I'm saying, your family, your neighborhood, your community, your people, yourself, and then your nation, you know what I'm saying. But like, and I also wanted to ask you like about like nice guys, you know, I guess not necessarily nice guys versus good men, but like just what you think about that part of it.
Yeah, that's one of those frame of reference things in terms of relative. The thing that I unfortunately had consumed, or I should say that I was indoctrinated with, is this quote unquote nice guy versus bad guy. Neither one exists. The only guy, when I say neither one exists, what that is that's a social construct. And here's what I mean. We have been coddled into someone else's frame of reference in terms of, and I was listening to that young brother, and it got me thinking in terms of, wait a minute, here we are, like it's so abstract and subjective to say what's a nice guy. Oh, he's a good guy. The last thing young brothers should have on their minds, and unfortunately, social media and the so-called manosphere has done this to them, is they've gotten so social-minded or so soft, for lack of a better term, that they have to go through in terms of an emotive content of what's a nice guy or a like they used to say, an educated lame and a and a bad guy. That's ridiculous. That's someone else's mindset. That's a European thinking. What a real man does is a real man can be both nice and good. He is so committed to what he wants to do in life to change, to make sure his destiny is controlled by him, that those little concepts of, oh, this is a nice guy, to me, that's very effeminate. When they're talking about nice guy versus bad guy, that's an effeminate form of thinking that Europeans have put in our heads. I could care less whether there's a so-called nice guy or good guy. What matters, Brother Forecast, is, are you solid? Do you commit to yourself that you're going to go ahead and change this world, that you're going to be a real man and challenge other males to the point where you're going to make sure that they bow to your needs? Every waking thing in your mindset is, I want to control. I want to be on top. I always talk about a Thucydides trap, and I always talk what a Thucydides trap is. Europeans have labeled that. It's a Greek saying, but of course, Greeks steal everything from Africans. Thucydides trap is when you've got a great power, something that's real powerful, and then the younger power, the one that's new, now starts to challenge it, and sooner or later there's going to be a war. That's just the nature of life for men in general, for males in general. Basically, Africans knew that before this so-called Thucydides nonsense came out. In nature, you have an old elephant or an old lion. He's had the herd, or he has the lion pride. He's been controlling things for a while. Well, younger males will sooner or later go ahead and say, I want to challenge him because I want to be the one on top. I love that when young brothers do that to me, because I know that they're trying to control the destiny of the world and not look at how they're perceived as a nice or a bad guy. That's so ridiculously effeminate. It's very prepubescent. The mindset that a real man has is, I don't care about what others look or think about me, because that's on them. What I care is what I think, look, and do for myself, so I can control the destiny, protect, nurture, so I can manage, so I can definitely conquer, so I can control. A real man does not look at what others, the perception of what others may or may not. That's westernized thinking that has unfortunately indoctrinated black males to why we are definitely not on the top of the totem pole in terms of controlling things. The thing is once these young brothers start saying, like I said, IGDAF, okay, that was my the hashtag, I don't give a, when we start looking at that in terms of how we perceive what others perceive us, we'll start putting more energy in terms of what we perceive for ourselves and the things that we can conquer. Brother Forecast, black males, quote unquote men, are so capable of conquering the planet. Yet we have been so diverted from doing that because we're always looking in, these strawman theories of nice guy and good guy, or, manospheres, or ratchets, and whatever this nonsense that folks say. We have been so diverted from manhood for centuries that it's no wonder that young brothers even have to go in. Like I said, I love listening to this young brother. When I started thinking of that, I'm like, man, I wish I could just snatch him into my ears and he would look back and go, damn, all that does not mean a goddamn thing. You'll start thinking in terms of, what can I create that the world wants, needs, can't do without, and ready to kill for? What can I go ahead and control that the world can't touch me? What can I go ahead and manage that they'll have to bend on their knees and grovel like mortals in order to go in my presence? When you start thinking that as a real man, like I said, I would love to bring that young brother into my ears. All this other nonsense, the social media nonsense that young brothers are unfortunately infected with, i.e. nice guy versus bad guy or good, whatever, that stuff won't even be considered, because you'll be so concentrated, so stoically crystallized in the things you want to maintain and control and create in this world. None of that stuff will ever matter, Brother Forecast. I'll go ahead and pass the mic.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And notice he said, black males and not men. But yeah, Cassidra, you want to say something?
I think my brother said it all.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you, and that's at the end of the day, like, that's a part of it. Like the sister was saying it before, like, black men don't control anything. That's nothing to be necessarily proud of and to be bragging about. But like at this point, I think it is like all hands on deck now, and so this last one, Cassidra, is for like, how to keep a good man, and I'm gonna let y'all comment on that one before we close out. Like, now that we understand the difference between, a young boy and a grown man, like, what is, how to keep
for the ladies with a good man. Please understand what it means to be a man's peace, because so many don't. Understand that when your man is the quietest, he's not talking much, he's being distant, you can visibly see he's not himself. That's when he needs you the most. That's when he needs you the most. And it's not hard. Instead of asking, babe, what can I do? Or is there anything I did? Or taking it personally and getting upset, speak life into him. Tell him, babe, I'm here with you. I'm here with you. I'm so proud of you. And watch this man's face light up. If he's on the couch, sit in between his legs and rest your head on his thigh and just sit in silence with him. I'm telling you, that is all he needs, because 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you.
All right, so yeah, Cassidra, like, so with taking like from the women's point of view, like in the consideration with like what MD2 is saying, like, say you have this good man, like, what do you think like the role of a good woman, or a real woman, or however you want to put it, is?
Oh, wow. The role is her learning her man. The role is her understanding him. The role is when your husband is breathing hard or breathing, that sigh, just, that there's something going on. And like he said, it's not necessarily you. It's something that he's trying to figure out. And a lot of times they don't talk about it, but just know that's when that encouragement comes in, no matter what. You got this, whatever it is. You may not know. We can't always get offended because they're not talking, or they not telling us men aren't like us. We talk, they don't. Sometimes they got to process. Sometimes they got to think about how they figure that thing out. And women figure it out with our mouths. We talk about it. We got to get it out. And then understand something. Women aren't wanting you to figure it out. They just want you to listen, because we already figured that thing out. Okay. For me, I've already figured it out, but I just want you to listen. But we have to do the same for our man to understand that, and that encouragement comes in when he needs to be encouraged, when he needs us to have his back. And no matter what it is, don't ever take it personal. Don't ever take it personal. We have to be there to support. We have to be there to build up. We have to be there to just acknowledge that there's something going on. I understand, but you got this. Whatever it is, I know you got this. And that's sometimes all they need to hear. I rest.
Yeah, definitely. So MD2, let me ask you, say you have or me, just give me say I need to save me from heartache, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that, so I can stay focused and determine, like, what advice would you give me when it comes to, like, per se, like a good woman, or, like, you know what I'm saying?
You'll know it when you see it. Here's what I mean. When look, I just got done working out. I work out like religiously now, and the thing is like I said, commitment, and it's not it's not an emotional, like, I don't want to say love is fleeting, because love is always there. But when you have when they always, a lot of folks use abstract, like saying two hearts beat as one. The thing is first and foremost, is I won't say someone that quote unquote support you physically, mentally, whatever else, but supports the fact that you are so committed to yourself that she knows that she's going to be more protected than anything in the world. She knows that Fort Knox is nothing compared to the protection, because she knows this is a man that is so committed. When I have his children, he would kill the world before anything happens to him, to them, and definitely to me. And she'll know that. Okay, she'll make sure that she reinforces that. Okay, because she knows, she sees that within you. She sees that you're so that there, and the way I say it is, like, throughout my life, Brother Forecast, I've always been very myopic. When I say myopic, that nothing can quote unquote tear me down. Nothing can make me think, a lot of folks were like, man, you're always happy, or you're always this. No, the one guy said, I've never seen you get mad. I've never seen you yell at anyone. But I know that I'm scared of you, because I don't know, like they say, still waters run deep. And I'm like, well, whatever. The bottom line is I'm committed. I'm centered. I'm so focused. And a good woman, if you want to, because again, those words are abstract. It's so abstract to say, whoa, that's a good man, a good woman. Well, like I say, it's people that are they know themselves, like the old ancient Kemet verse, the old ancient Kemet saying, know thyself. And whether the quote unquote word good woman, she'll know that, hey, this man knows himself. And I'm not going to go ahead and try to divert that, because that'll hurt me. Okay, I'm going to support the fact that he knows himself. And I'll want to be that partner to that man, because that, if she doesn't know herself, that'll reinforce and help her know herself. If she does know herself, then you guys are just that much stronger. It's almost as if you have a left arm and a right arm, and most folks do. It's like not having one, okay? And it's going to be kind of hard to function without that limb. It's like when you got both of them and they're working, like you want to push something, that individual knows, hey, this person wants to push that, whether it's a goal, whether it's an ideal, whether it's a family, a relationship. And if I let that person push by, I'm hurting both of us. That individual will want to help you, and now you have two arms that are pushing that goal. Whether that goal is money, family, life, whatever, they'll know, hey, we cannot do it with one half of a body alone. Even though you're so committed that you're going to go ahead and do it by yourself, not on my watch. I'm going to commit because I want to make sure that we're a whole body. And that's something that I've noticed, through the relationships I have and a lot of things that I've been through. It's like I said, I would love to grab this young brother and just bring him into my years. I'm like, man, there's so much that I could teach you just from like what I observe or what I've been through. But I just love listening to you guys talk about it. Hopefully that helps, Brother Forecast.
No, it definitely does. And the sign of a wise man, like someone who knows that nobody knows nothing, first of all, but also somebody who, when you answer, it still goes back to know thyself. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I asked you about somebody else, and the correct answer was know thyself. You know what I'm saying? So that is definitely wise words, And I guess I'll ask you, Cassidra, just to wrap it up, like how you was talking about your person before, like what is the best advice you would give somebody, maybe when they get to a space where they can hear you, you know what I'm saying? Like, will they go from like that person who is always with that person who is not necessarily going to or keep them with one arm and almost damn near break their thumb too, you know what I'm saying? And get them with that person who will understand who they are. How do you get that woman or whoever like to be able to change their mindset, or even advice for young people who might be in the middle or something like that, you know, who don't really know how to pick between the people who will put them in the right positions and the people who won't? Like, what is your advice for them?
For young people, or you mean like for dating, or you mean like?
Well, yeah, like yeah, like with women who don't want a good man and who beat down a good man, but to get them to the position where they can appreciate and understand the differences, and you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I understand. A lot of times it's just showing them. A lot of time, well, see, you have to understand. A lot of times, some women are so damaged, and it's society wise. You know, it's living in America. How about that? But if you meet a woman where she is, and if you know what women want, and a lot of women want that security, they want to know that you got their backs. They want to know that no matter what, they can trust you, that they can be safe with you, that you're going to cover them no matter what. You know what I'm saying? They just want to know that you're going to be there. And once you show a woman that, I don't care how hurt she is, but once she can trust you, and once she can talk to you, and you don't repeat her secrets. You know how sometimes people get mad and they start running their mouth off, even if you done told them something, they just go blah, 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 blah. That's not going to ever get her there. But if you can hold a secret, no matter what she told you, and you're protecting her, and you're making sure she's safe, just like that, guys. If she's mad and she says, I'm going for a walk, no, we're not, no, we're not going to do that, because it's about you keeping her safe and making sure that she's not going to, because us women, we'll tear up the world and rebuild it tomorrow, that. But long as we have a man that's going to be there to keep us covered, you know what I'm saying? Even when we are trying to hurt ourselves, and not even trying, you know what I'm saying? And even for like a younger woman, young woman, just knowing, like I said, you have to sometimes get where she is and bring her up. And that's meeting her where she is, okay? Knowing that, sometimes she may have a little self-esteem problem. Okay, but how are you going to deal with that? You're going to build her up. You're going to compliment her. You're going to words. You're going to understand what that love language is for her. If it's words, if it's affirmation, if it's just holding her hand or just rubbing her down, if it's just hearing her, listening to her. You have to understand what that love language is and talk in that. Once you find out what that love language is and you talk in that, you're going to bring her over to you anyway. There is no woman on this earth that wouldn't submit to a man if she knew that no matter what, you had her back and she could trust you. It's all about trust and knowing that you're going to keep her safe. That's all it's about. That's all it's about. And so many people don't understand that. You talking and walking and talking and trusting and in her love, you talking in that love language. It's only 5, and you find out which one it is, and there's a test that you can take to understand which one is her love language. And you have to get the book. There's a book called 5 Love Languages. You find out what that woman's love language is, and you speak that love language, you got her. Our best.
Yeah. Imagine if we trusted each other. Imagine if black men and women trusted each other. Imagine if black men trusted each other. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, but that's not hard, because some women just give you their trust automatically. Some women, they automatically trust you. You just have to be trustworthy. You just have to maintain and hold on to that trust. If you know that a woman is, if you have a woman and she doesn't have to go in your wallet, she's not looking in your phone, she's not calling you every 5 minutes, she's not trying to follow you, she trusts you. As long as you have that trust and you keep that trust and you act accordingly, that she knows that no matter what, that she can trust you. She can go out of town and know that you're good. You can't beat that. That woman will do anything for you, including submit.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So man, that's y'all is killing it today. I'm learning a hell of a lot from both of y'all. I ain't go front, and I definitely, MD2, you want to say, you got anything you want to, say?
Yeah, I am so glad, Sister Cassidra, that you had brought something up that one of the things that I do is doing pull-ups. And sometimes, like, I'll if there's a lady there, I'll say, yeah, just go on my back and I'll do pull-ups and pull her up like I'm doing pull-ups. And that's pretty intense. Sometimes that's like double your body weight sometimes. But to me, it's symbolic. And the reason I do that is because a lot of young folks, they'll see somebody my age doing 10 times more than they are in the gym. But what I mean by symbolic is a young brother will see that. What it is the woman has got your back. If you're doing pull-ups and she's on your back, she has got your back and putting her whole faith in you, not dropping both of you.
Yeah.
Because I'll do that. I'll let a woman get on my shoulders. I say, let me do some pull-ups and do that. In the mindset of her, she's like, wow, he's so strong that he will carry me no matter what. And he will do everything to make sure I don't fall. In a way, you're lifting her up. And that's what a lot of brothers, I keep telling them, that's why I like to work out. I'm like, brothers that don't do pull-ups and don't work out to me are not men. And the reason I say that is it's a test. You're lifting that woman up. And that's the main issue. It's a psychological thing. And in the meantime, not only does she have your back, but she's putting her whole faith of her life in your two arms to pull her up to that bar. That is so symbolic. I used to tell a lot of brothers, I say, because I used to tell my daughter that years ago when she was a baby, I said, I love you more than breathing. And I would always say, whoever you marry in life, and I tell young ladies, make sure that whatever man says that, before you even go ahead and spend that first night, make sure he says, I love you more than breathing. What that means, again, it's not saying, oh, some kind of romantic this. No, what that is, it's very symbolic. And again, everything to me makes sense. It has to be very scientific. That means I would rather die than see you go through something. I would, and when I say love, I'm not talking about that abstract emotion. Love is also a business. Love is also a fight, because couples would never fight if they didn't love each other, not just emotionally, but even in circumstances of dependency or commitment. That's what love is. Love is not just just a little, like I said, it's also a business contract. It's, hey, are you doing that? Are you doing that in terms of supporting my feelings, my emotions, what I'm thinking of? Are you empathizing, whatever? That's also a contract. The thing is a lot of folks don't realize when I was telling my daughter, I said, well, whoever you marry, before you even marry him, if they don't say, if the man doesn't say, I love you more than breathing, that's somebody who would rather go ahead and look only for himself and would not pull you up to that bar like pull-ups. What that is saying, Brother Forecast, is it's saying, if I don't commit my to the fact that now instead of one arm we have two together, if I don't commit, then the whole body of who we are as a people, as a couple, dies. So therefore, I would rather die than not. I would rather die than have this union be separated. I would rather, if I'm not leveling up to my commitment to make sure this body as a left arm and a right arm, then I don't deserve life. And a lot of folks don't get that. And it's not really, like I said, it's not this simpish emotional thing. It's like saying, look, as a real man, you want to commit. As a real man, you want to go ahead and walk this earth like you own it, not like you're subjected to it. Every brother Forecast, and unfortunately I've seen too many, they walk as if they want to be controlled. I don't care. Like I said, I could care less about anyone else's rules, laws, dictates, mandates, protocols, doctrines, whatever. The bottom line is legacy is so important. Having as many young Black children as you can is more important than breathing. Making sure that woman that bears your seed knows that if there's a nuclear bomb coming, it will not affect her. Because if you have to die to make sure that she doesn't get irradiated, she'll be the first person to be able to survive a nuke because of you. It's that kind of mindset that a man has that says, I own the world and I want to control the world. These were things we had when we were little children growing up, but we lost in the so-called society as we got older. Hopefully, Brother Forecast, Sister Cassidra, we'll get it back as Black males. One day we'll be Black men. I'll pass the mic.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad you came on here, MD2, because we needed masculine energy, especially today with what we was talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you spot on with everything you're saying. I definitely appreciate you for like coming on here for real, like, and it's definitely needed. Because at the end of the day, that's what a man is. Like, I can only say like so much. Like, there cannot be like. you as a man, like, yo, it is what it is. I can't let somebody else control my own destiny, or I shouldn't even be. I should be either formulating a way to take it back or like not breathing at all, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it is what it is. You can't let somebody take something from you. It's just unfortunate though. A lot of people that's over like the age of 10 is doomed for like right now. So I'm aiming for like the babies born tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? And I say that kind of joking. I don't know if I'm joking or not, but I should change it from like good guys finish last to black people finish last. But I don't mean my bad, y'all. I don't mean to get bad. So MG, so you want to say anything before we wrap it up, my brother? Any last words?
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you, brothers, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. What I mean by that is don't let anyone tell you you can't. Never wait. This is what my dad told me, because my dad told me a lot of things. Even though he was a joke, I call him a con man. I call him a coward. You know, I would beat up on him even when he was 80, and I'd tell him, man, why don't you go and beat up on the little peckerwoods that are your age? And he would laugh at me and say, son, I wish I was the soldier that you are. And I mean, he would always say that. He'd be like, one thing that my dad taught us. Again, he was both good and bad, for if you want to use nice guy, bad guy, or whatever. I remember when I was like 7 years old, I think. And we lived in Philadelphia, and this is like at the time, when, we're talking the 60s, stuff like that. I'll never forget when my brother, who is a little older than me, about 2 or 3, maybe 4 years older than me, he was going out there, he was a Boy Scout, the whole 9 yards, and he almost got mugged. Some Negro came up to him and tried to mug him and tried to, it was probably going to get worse. And so my brother went, and he was running back home and knocked on the neighbor's door, and then the dude left away, and then knocked on. When he got to our house, he went to my dad and he says, and keep in mind, this is not his biological dad. This, he's my, I guess you would say half brother, but he went to my dad and he says, hey man, this guy tried to mug me. He's a college dude, whatever, this and that and the other. And so my dad said, okay, I'll go ahead and solve this. Now, this is back, I think Mayor Rizzo was just in office at the time, back in Philly. So it tells you how long ago this was. My dad took my brother and says, you come out, don't keep your Boy Scout clothes on, because I'm going to show you what a real Boy Scout is. He grabbed my brother. He walked out. They were walking on the street for like maybe 2 hours. And I had no idea what was going on. When my dad got back to the house, all I remember is the front door. Remember, I got like 6 brothers and sisters. I remember that the front door just bolted open. We thought somebody was breaking in, because all I see is this dude was in his like mid-20s, early 30s, or whatever. And he just comes in and he's falling through this. And we were eating dinner at this time. He falls into our house, and then comes in my oldest brother and my dad. And my dad comes in. The dude was all bloodied and everything else. My dad had him in the living room. He said, children, I want you all to line up. All 6 of us lined up in age, from my youngest brother up to my oldest brother. We lined up. My dad had us sit and watch this. He was beating the guy in our living room. I'll never forget this, because I was like freaking out as a kid. He's beating the daylights out of this guy in the living room. And then he went and he grabbed his keys, his car keys and his house keys, and he put his wallet on the mantle. And he went and told the dude, he told my brothers, he said, and me, he said, sons, I want you to know what a man will do. And he told my sisters, I had 2 sisters, he says, I want to show you how to marry a man, because I'll show you this is what a man will do for you. So he's beating this guy up. This went on for like 45 minutes. He's beating this guy up. He puts the car keys and the wallet on the mantle, and he goes and he grabs my mom and he says, you go and stand next to the car keys and everything. And then he tells the guy, I'm willing to die. And he says, but here's the thing. I want you to beat me up, grab my keys, my wife, and my wallet, and you can have my children. If you don't do it, I'll kill you. But if you do it, I'll kill you. And so he's doing, and I was like freaking out as a kid. Next thing I know, this dude, some Negro, he was a junkie, a little morphine junkie or whatever. He didn't know what to do. So my dad was kicking him. And I've never seen that much blood as a kid. Next thing I know, that the dude was like standing. My dad says, I told you, you're so brave to hurt one of my sons. And keep in mind, this is his he's not his biological son. It's just, he said, you're so brave to hurt my son. I'm willing to die. And I'm going to show you that I'm willing to kill you before you kill me. I told you to grab my car keys, my wallet, and my wife, and you can take off with them. If you don't do it, I'll kill you. If you do it, I'll kill you. And 45 minutes of this was going around. So the dude would kind of like motion like he was going to get the keys, and he really got beat. My dad beat him over the head with one of those fire pokers that you have on the fireplace, because we had a fireplace in Philly, and he just kept smacking the guy, and I was just seeing blood spurt out. He kept telling the dude, I told you to go grab the keys. So the dude, after getting beat up, didn't know whether he was going to go for it or not. And after, the dude basically could barely move, my dad called the cops, and the cops came in, said, we were looking for this guy, Mr. Martin. Thank you so much. We were looking for this guy. And I guess they took him over to the rival gangs and they killed him or beat him up or whatever. Because this is, Mayor Rizzo back in the day didn't care. I'll never forget when my dad did that. And there was another instance, because I played trumpet since I was like 6 years old, actually. And I've been playing for since then. I'll never forget when I had a trumpet. Dr. William Saccone was one of the best trumpet players. He worked under Cat Anderson and worked with Dizzy Gillespie or whatever. And I had this, my dad went and spent like a week's worth of wages to get me a trumpet, which was like $45. I'll never forget it. He got it from a pawn shop. I went in, Dr. William Saccone was teaching me. I was using, before I got the Arbin's book to teach me. And he was like, your trumpet's okay, but it's a little sharp. I think you need to get it repaired or get a new one, because it's going to really be hard for you to be able to do things, and it was probably my armature and not the trumpet. But, I said, okay. So I told my dad. The professor told, even though this is like, we lived in the ghetto, they would bring, certain, scholars and stuff to teach us whatever we wanted. So so this trumpet teacher was like real world-renowned teacher. He said, yeah, you need a new trumpet or get that one repaired. So my dad went back to the pawn shop. He told the guy, look, you sold me a trumpet that's a little sharp. It's, my son wants to play, and I want him, he's going to be the next Miles Davis. He needs a good trumpet. And so the guy at the pawn shop said, no, I'm not going to do it. He said, all sales are final. My dad said, okay, yeah, I understand that. But my son needs a trumpet. I don't care what all sales are. He needs a trumpet because I'm willing to go ahead and die to make sure he gets that, because I want him. That's his dream to play trumpet. It's not going to be squashed because of all sales are final. The guy didn't listen to my dad. So my dad says, are we going to use your gun or my gun? And so my dad sat a 45 on the counter. He said, you could go ahead and sit your 45 on the counter. Whoever gets to the guns first can go ahead and have the trumpet. And he said, so my dad says, I'm going to take 2 steps back. You take 2 steps back. And this is the guy that owned the pawn shop. Needless to say, Brother Forecast, I had a brand new, I think the trumpet that I had was like $200 or $300, because the guy looked at my dad and says, you're ready to die just to make sure your son has a trumpet. Take this one. And I went with a new trumpet. So, it's like I say, it's commitment is just one of the things. Even though my dad, like many a times he punked out, those 2 things in my life, Brother Forecast, taught me what manhood really is. Thank you so much there, Brother Forecast. You and Sister Cassidra are always doing wonderful stuff.
No, thank you too, MG2. That's crazy stories, you know what I'm saying? That's real deep, and I really appreciate you coming on here. And I still be listening to everybody, but I just be in the background now. But I listen to all the stuff y'all be doing though. And I definitely, I always learn from all the stuff that you put forward. Y'all subscribe to MG2.
Yes,
MG2,
I love it.
Yeah, Marcus Garvey 3 channel. And it's information too when it comes to like the stock market and all of that stuff. So you definitely want to pay attention to what he's saying. But yeah, Cassidra, like what you think about wrapping it up, like to wrap up everything tonight? How do you feel about everything?
Well, I just hope everybody is understanding and getting the picture. And we do this for a reason. We're not just doing this just to entertain. We're doing this to maybe help some men think, women also, okay, because we have a lot of stuff going on in our community, and it's time for us to just be ready. Just get ready. Let's change the dynamics. We don't want to leave what we're seeing to our children. This is a mess. We're in a 911, and it is time for us to do better. It is time for us to see stuff that need to be corrected in our community, and relationship is one of the biggest issues that need some attention in our community, because right now we don't even know how to speak to each other. We don't even know how to deal with each other, and they've gotten us to the point where we don't even like each other. We love them and they treat us the worst. And why is that? Why is it that the people that treat you the worst, you love them so much? we have to pay attention to this stuff, right? We have to begin to change the dynamics, and we're not doing that. But we should. It's about time, because what we're getting ready to get into is going to be really serious, and only the strongest going to survive. Only the strong. And we need each other to get through this little hurdle that we're getting ready to go into. We're going to need each other, because don't think that they're going to be your friends. Don't think they're going to cover you. Don't think, ladies, I'm going to tell you now, if you don't have a man, you better get one, because you're going to need one for what's coming, because you're not going to be able to do this by yourself. And two women can't do it for each other. You get the same strength. You know what I'm saying? So it's time for us to get the healing that we need, so that we can become the people that we should be, so that we can leave a great legacy to our children. And by us getting it together, our children are watching that. So by us getting it together, they get it together, and then they get to show their children. You know what I'm saying? So it's time for us to start doing better. It's time for us to start healing, especially in some areas where we know that we need some help. We know that we're lacking. We know that it's a problem area. Instead of us ignoring it, let's take care of it. How else do we get better if you don't ever recognize it? How do you get better if you're not honest enough to be honest with yourself, at least, and say, yeah, that's an issue. Let me work on that. And we can all do that personally. It doesn't take, somebody else to tell you everybody know what their stuff is. We individually need to start working on our stuff. We know what's stopping us. We know what our shortfalls are. We know what's the issue in our community for real. So hopefully these shows will give you something to think about. And let's do the work. I'll rest.
No.
Brother Forecast?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for cutting in. I just wanted to just impart this to you, because, like I said, you guys are much, much younger than me. Young brothers, take it from someone who's been through it. I'm probably twice your age. Never, ever, 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 I'm saying ever, let any other person, man, woman, or even a dog tell you you can't. That's if they ever tell you you can't, you know what to tell them to go wet themselves. Never, ever, ever. I went through it, and that's the thing that saved me. You can do anything except for giving birth. You could do anything on this planet. If anyone ever tells you that, don't even listen to them ever again. Never wait for anyone. If you want to get something done, never, ever, ever wait. Get it done. Tell the individuals, hey, I'm on my mission. You know what? You can do it yourself. Those are just the two things I just want to make sure young brothers do there, Brother Forecast. Thank you, guys.
No, yeah, I'm glad you said that, because and that's the thing about MD2 and Cassidra. Cassidra, what's the last time when somebody told you can't do something? What happened to them?
Oh my God, I don't even remember the last. Nobody, nobody, you can't let people tell you what you can't. You know what you can do. You know what you're capable of, but you're going to have people doing that. No matter what they're going to say, let them talk. And then you show them. Period. You ain't got to argue with nobody. You show them.
That's what I'm saying. And the point is, like, they both understand, like, it's the mentality that they are going to go out and do what they want. And if I sit there and say, MD2, you can't go there and do that, he's going to look at me like I'm crazy. If I be like, Cassidra, you can't go down there and invest in that, you're tripping. She's going to look at me like I'm crazy. And then I'm going to have to consider, like, yo, I'm probably crazy, because I am, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing can tell them that they cannot be who they are. You know what I'm saying? MD2, like, have you ever said, like, yo, I wish this woman would let me be a man? I don't think you have. Have you ever said that, MD2?
No, never. That would never happen.
Exactly.
Right. But the point is, they believe in themselves, though. Like MD2 said, like, yo, know thyself, but you believe in yourself. And they are able to accomplish things because they know that they can in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So stop talking negative to yourself, like saying, I can't do, I can't be, I can't have, because you'll be surprised at how many people tell themselves that I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve. And that's by design. So it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to know, because they don't want us to know that we can create whatever reality that we want to, because, the reality we're going to create is one that they don't exist in, So I'm glad you said that. So I appreciate you, MD2, for coming on here. Like, thank you. And you already know, y'all support Realm and the Bush organization. We're gonna talk about what you're doing on one of these weeks. I know we're gonna come back next week. Shouts out to my brother Anthony. Hope everything good with you, my brother.
Yes.
And shouts out to Raw in the building. Always be supporting. I appreciate all y'all. I'm gonna try to focus, but I mean, y'all just arguing about like some wild stuff right now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm like a little bit. I don't know what to tell you, so I'm gonna still come back. I might come back and start trolling y'all again. I don't know. I'm trying to do better things in my life, so I appreciate you. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.
Peace, family.